Heaven halts its rhythm for this moment, and time bends around your name. You think it's random that this message found you, but there are no accidents in the kingdom. This is divine interruption, a holy interception between what was and what will be. You are not here by coincidence. You are here because heaven demanded your attention. You've been moving through storms, trying to make sense of silent seasons, wondering why your prayers echoed with no reply. But now, heaven has pressed pause, and every angel assigned to your destiny is waiting for your response. Listen closely. The atmosphere shifts when the chosen one listens. You've carried burdens that others couldn't survive. You've walked through fire that left no trace on your skin but carved depth into your soul. You are not weak, you are chosen. You are not behind, you are being positioned. Every delay, every heartbreak, every door that slammed in your face, it was not rejection, it was redirection. You were being hidden for the moment when heaven would say, "Now." The Spirit whispers, "Even now," reminding you that the weight you've carried was never meant to crush you. It was meant to crown you. The rejection was training. The loneliness was refinement. Every night you cried and wondered if God saw you, He did. And now He is answering through this very moment. Using the language you understand, through the words that carry fire. It was declared long ago, and the echo still burns in eternity. Isaiah 55, verse 11. "So shall my word be that goes forth from my mouth. It shall not return to me void, but it shall accomplish what I please, and it shall prosper in the thing for which I sent it." This moment is that word being fulfilled. You are the field where His promise is landing. Heaven's timeline has caught up with your obedience, and what was once delayed is now being delivered. The gates that resisted you are trembling, because the word is not returning empty, it's carrying your name back with victory attached. You must understand your presence is prophetic. You were not called to blend in, you were sent to break patterns. When others quit, you persisted. When others bowed to fear, you stood in faith. The warfare you faced was not random, it was evidence of assignment. The enemy doesn't attack what isn't threatening him. The fact that you've been under pressure means you are carrying something valuable. You are carrying destiny. Do not mistake the weight for punishment. The pressure is proof that heaven is trusting you with something greater. Many around you didn't make it through the testing, but you did. And now, you're about to see why the warfare was so personal. God has preserved you for such a time as this. Every tear was a seed. Every prayer in the midnight hour watered a future you couldn't see. But heaven saw it all. There's a divine order moving now, rearranging things behind the scenes. People who walked away were removed on purpose. Opportunities that seemed lost are being resurrected. You are stepping into the phase where everything starts to make sense. Heaven didn't forget your name. Heaven was preparing the stage. You were hidden, not forsaken, delayed, not denied. This message isn't just information, it's confirmation. You've been feeling the pull to rise, to step up, to stop shrinking into spaces too small for your spirit. The reason you can't stay comfortable anymore is because your season of stretching has arrived. The old version of you cannot fit into the new assignment. You are about to outgrow your pain, your fear, and every label placed upon you. And as you hear these words, something inside you begins to stir again. Faith wakes up. Purpose breathes. Hope, once buried under disappointment, starts to rise. This is the divine activation moment where heaven says, "Move." The same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead is quickening your purpose right now. Your waiting season is over, not because everything around you changes instantly, but because everything within you is awakening. Now, before you scroll away, understand this. This is not entertainment. This is alignment. You are being invited into covenant action. Don't let distractions steal your revelation. If your spirit is stirring, respond. Heaven watches what you do next. This message carries an instruction to step into obedience, to claim what has been hovering over you for years. The door is open, but it won't stay open forever. It's time to move, time to awaken, time to step into divine flow. The kingdom does not delay when the chosen obey. Take this as your sign. Heaven is still speaking, still choosing, still calling you higher. If these words resonate with your soul, let heaven see your agreement. Tap the like. Share this message so another chosen one awakens. And subscribe so you never miss the word heaven sends for your spirit. And finally, as a prophetic act, comment the number 777 below. Let it be your declaration that you are aligning with divine timing, stepping into your ordained blessing, and saying yes to what heaven has prepared. You've carried more than most could imagine, haven't you? The weight that pressed on your shoulders was invisible to the world, but heaven saw every ounce of it, every sleepless night, every tear shed in silence, every "I'm fine" whispered through trembling lips. None of it was lost on God. You have endured storms that would have broken others, and you did it while still showing compassion, still giving, still believing when belief itself felt impossible. The truth is, you've been carrying not just your pain, but the pain of generations. You were chosen to break patterns, to interrupt the cycle of fear and failure that haunted your lineage. And even when it seemed like no one noticed, heaven kept a record. Every moment of endurance was a seed sown into eternity. You may have thought you were being punished, but what you were truly being given was a mantle, a weighty one. Yes, but also glorious. The chosen are never chosen because it's easy. They are chosen because they are capable of carrying what others cannot. You, chosen one, have carried grief that wasn't yours, burdens that were never meant to stay with you forever. Yet somehow, through the fire, through the crushing, you remained standing. Your pain was not wasted. Every wound became a doorway for divine revelation. The things you lost taught you discernment. The betrayals sharpened your wisdom. The isolation taught you to hear the still, small voice of God without the noise of the crowd. You thought the silence was abandonment, but it was sacred protection. Heaven was pulling you away from voices that would have corrupted the purity of your calling. Sometimes God hides you to heal you before He reveals you. There's something sacred about being misunderstood. You've been the outcast, the one who didn't fit the mold, but you were never meant to. You were shaped differently because your purpose required it. The pain that made you different also made you ready. Every disappointment was chiseling you into a vessel of glory. Every time someone walked away, God was clearing the path for His own presence to walk closer. You have been surrounded by divine strategy disguised as hardship. There's a reason your story feels heavier than others. You are carrying redemption in your bloodline. You are the one through whom generational pain will end. That's why the battles intensified when you decided to rise. Darkness recognized your potential before you did. But here's the truth: you never fought alone. The very breath you're taking right now is proof that heaven has fought for you again and again. Even when you didn't have strength left to fight for yourself. You've been molded through breaking. You've been purified through pressure. Every crushing moment was extracting the oil of anointing from your life. And that oil, that unseen favor, that divine resilience is what sets you apart. You are no longer the same person you were before the pain. You are deeper, wiser, and far more powerful than you realize. What once broke you now bows to the strength that has risen within you. And through all of this, God has been whispering, "I have not forgotten you." When you were drowning in confusion, He was guiding the current. When you lost everything familiar, He was building something unshakable inside you. What felt like destruction was actually construction. You were being built from the inside out, built to carry blessing, not just receive it. The time has come to see the purpose behind the pain. You are being elevated, not because of luck, but because of endurance. Heaven rewards the one who keeps believing in the dark. And you have done exactly that. You have chosen faith over fear, purpose over comfort, trust over understanding. Now, the same God who allowed the testing is about to release the testimony. The Word of God reminds us of this truth. Romans 8, verse 18. I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. That glory is near. It's closer than you think. Everything you've lost, every season that seemed barren, is about to make sense. The reward is not just external, it's internal. You are stronger, purer, and ready for what once would have overwhelmed you. The weight you carried was sacred, and now, heaven is lifting it, transforming every burden into blessing. And as the final fragments of pain fall away, clarity enters. You begin to see that every tear was a divine investment. The soil of your suffering has become fertile ground for miracles. Heaven is not late, it is precise. What was heavy will soon become holy, and what was broken will bloom again. This is your turning point. The weight that once chained you now becomes your testimony. Every scar begins to shine with purpose. Every wound begins to whisper wisdom. The same hands that allowed your breaking are now preparing your blessing. Hold steady. Chosen one, the unveiling of glory has already begun. There's a whisper hidden inside the chaos, a voice so gentle that only stillness can reveal it. You've been searching for answers in the thunder, in the loud moments, in the drastic signs. But heaven often speaks in the quiet spaces between your questions. The whisper isn't weak, it's sacred. It's the kind of voice that doesn't compete with noise, it waits for silence. The storms around you have been loud because the enemy knows that if you ever slow down enough to hear the whisper, you'll discover truth that shatters deception. God doesn't need to shout to be powerful. He speaks in whispers because He is near. The loudest proof of His presence is not always the miracle. Sometimes it's the peace that suddenly floods your heart when everything around you is collapsing. You've mistaken divine silence for absence. But heaven has been orchestrating behind the scenes. Every delay, every moment of uncertainty, every unanswered prayer, they've all been part of a divine conversation meant to train your spirit to discern His voice. The whisper is not empty, it's instruction. What you thought was stillness was actually strategy. God was positioning you to hear, not to panic. When storms rise, The human heart naturally seeks control, but control is the enemy of surrender. The whisper only becomes clear when you stop trying to fix what only faith can carry. This is why the Spirit keeps pulling you into moments where you have no choice but to listen. You may have lost certain things, but what you gained is priceless awareness, sensitivity, the ability to feel divine direction without needing a sign. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Elijah, revealing where true revelation is found. First Book of Kings, chapter 19, verse 12. After the earthquake came a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire, and after the fire came a gentle whisper. That whisper has been echoing over your life for years, trying to draw you into alignment. Every time you felt that subtle conviction, that inner pull to pause, to walk away, to forgive, that was not your mind. That was heaven speaking in a frequency your soul could hear, but your logic could not explain. You are learning to trust that frequency again. Listen. The whisper will guide you to doors logic cannot open. It will warn you before betrayal, comfort you before breakthrough, strengthen you before battle. But you must choose to silence distractions. Every time you drown out the noise of fear and busyness, you make room for divine guidance. Heaven doesn't need your volume, it needs your attention. There are instructions waiting for you in the whisper, divine strategies that will not be shouted to the crowd. This is why isolation came. This is why the noise around you increased when you started growing. The enemy isn't afraid of your talent. He's terrified of your focus. Because once you tune in to the whisper, no deception can control you again. So take this moment to breathe, to quiet your soul. The whisper will tell you what the thunder never could. It will lead you into places your strength could never reach. Every chosen one must master this art, hearing God in the hidden, trusting Him when visibility fades. The whisper is your weapon. It's the map to your next season. And when you feel uncertain, remember, stillness is not inactivity. It's preparation, the calm before fulfillment. You are not waiting aimlessly. You are being recalibrated to divine frequency. Now, as a sign that you've heard the message behind the noise, type these words below. I choose stillness. Say it not as a cliché, but as a declaration that you refuse to let chaos lead you anymore. By writing it, you are announcing to heaven and to yourself that you will no longer chase signs when you can hear His voice. Stillness is not weakness, it's obedience. And in that obedience, the whisper will become unmistakably clear. When you type, I choose stillness, you are not just writing words, you are making a spiritual declaration. You are telling heaven that you refuse to let fear dictate your decisions, that you will no longer chase noise for validation. This is your way of saying, I trust the whisper more than the whirlwind. Each time you declare it, you are breaking agreement with anxiety and aligning yourself with divine peace. Stillness is where revelation lives, and by choosing it, you are stepping into a dimension of wisdom the world cannot understand. Choosing stillness is choosing strength. It means you no longer move out of panic, but out of purpose. It means you will not let emotions make decisions that faith was meant to lead. Stillness gives heaven space to act. When you choose it, you are saying, God, I will not rush what you are still writing. The noise may tempt you, but silence will guide you. So type it, mean it, live it. I choose stillness. Let these words be your daily anchor. Every time the world demands reaction, respond with rest. In stillness, your spirit hears clearly, your steps align, and your destiny unfolds without striving. You have always known, somewhere deep within, that you were different. Even as a child, you could feel it, that quiet awareness that you didn't quite belong in the patterns of those around you. You thought it was isolation, but it was identification. You were marked, chosen, and set apart long before you ever understood what that meant. The world tried to mold you into conformity, but heaven carved you for distinction. There's a mark on your life that darkness recognizes. It's the reason you've been misunderstood, the reason relationships suddenly shifted, the reason environments that seemed welcoming eventually grew uncomfortable. The light within you exposes what others try to hide. You carry a frequency that interrupts the plans of darkness simply by existing. The enemy saw that mark long before you did. And that is why he's fought you so intensely, not because of who you were, but because of what you were becoming. From your first breath, you've been part of a divine pattern. You were set apart to see what others overlook, to feel what others numb, to hear what others dismiss. That sensitivity that made you feel weak is actually one of your greatest strengths. It is the evidence of your calling. You were never designed to blend in with the ordinary. You were created to carry something extraordinary, a fire that reveals truth wherever you go. The world rewards imitation, but heaven rewards authenticity. Your mark is divine proof that you cannot copy your way into destiny. Every time you tried to fit in, something within you rebelled. That resistance was not arrogance, it was purpose. You were not rejecting people, you were rejecting limitation. God placed within you a hunger for something higher, something holy, something that cannot be found in comfort. You've been marked for movement, not mediocrity. And though that mark has attracted attacks, it has also drawn protection. Angels have stood between you and destruction more times than you can count. Doors that closed suddenly were divine shields. Friendships that ended abruptly were heaven's intervention. Every season that felt like rejection was actually preparation for exposure. The mark of the chosen is both a crown and a cross. It brings favor, but it also attracts fire. That's why your process has been heavier. It's why your pruning has been deeper. God refines what He intends to reveal. The mark on your life is not just a sign of selection, it is a seal of stewardship. You've been trusted with something eternal, and because of that, you've been tested differently. Others can walk casually, but you cannot. Others can compromise, but you feel conviction. The same grace that calls you higher will not let you stay low. We are reminded through the writings of Paul's 2 Corinthians, chapter 1, verse 21, "Now it is God who makes both us and you stand firm in Christ. He anointed us, set His seal of ownership on us, and put His Spirit in our hearts as a deposit, guaranteeing what is to come. That seal is on you. It is the invisible mark that tells heaven and hell alike, this one belongs to God. You may not see it, but you've felt its weight. That's why certain doors didn't open, they weren't yours. That's why some people couldn't stay, they weren't assigned to the same mission. The mark filters your path, ensuring that only what aligns with divine purpose remains. The mark of the chosen comes with responsibility. You cannot live carelessly when eternity has been written into your DNA. You must walk with awareness, speak with intention, and carry light with humility. This is not about perfection, it's about alignment. The more you align with heaven's rhythm, the stronger the mark shines, and the brighter it shines, the more it transforms the spaces you enter. There's a sacred exchange happening even now. The part of you that once resisted your difference is learning to embrace it. You're realizing that your uniqueness is not a flaw, it's a divine fingerprint. You are learning to move in confidence, not comparison, to stand firm, not apologize for the calling you carry. You are learning to live as one marked by heaven, not validated by man. So walk boldly in your distinction. Carry your light unashamedly. The mark is not a burden, it is a banner proof that heaven has invested something eternal inside you. You are not lost. You are labeled by love. You are not forgotten. You are identified by grace. The world may not understand you, but heaven celebrates you. The mark of the chosen is upon you, visible or not. It speaks for you wherever you go. You no longer have to explain your difference. Your life will prove it. The mark you carry will draw what is meant for you and repel what is not. Walk boldly. Your distinction is your divine signature. Wherever you go, heaven recognizes your steps. You were chosen, sealed, and sent a living testimony of divine ownership. You've waited, haven't you? The hours, the days, the years, they seemed endless. Like walking through a desert where every step looked the same. You prayed, you fasted, you believed, but the answer felt delayed. You thought perhaps heaven had forgotten you. But what if the delay was never denial? What if the pause you feared was divine protection? The truth is, what you called delay, heaven called design. Every unanswered prayer was a carefully timed seed, waiting for the right season to bloom. You see, some blessings are too heavy for premature hands. God had to build strength in you before placing certain promises upon you. He wasn't punishing you, he was preparing you. Think about a tree planted by still waters. It doesn't rush to grow. It digs deep roots before it stretches tall. The storms that come only strengthen its foundation. That's what the waiting has done for you. You were not stuck, you were being rooted. Heaven never wastes time, it redeems it. Every silent season was God stretching your spirit so you could carry the glory He planned to release through you. It was revealed long ago, and the words still breathe truth today. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3, For the vision is yet for an appointed time, though it tarry. Wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not delay. There it is, the appointed time. The season where everything suddenly aligns. You're closer to that moment than you realize. The doors that refused to open before will open easily now. Because you're no longer trying to force them, you're simply ready to walk through them. The timing wasn't wrong, it was perfecting you. Waiting refines perspective. It separates the impatient from the faithful, the dreamers from the doers. It reveals who truly trusts God when there's no evidence yet. And now, heaven looks at you and says, you're ready, ready to receive, to carry, and to steward. Ready not only to be blessed, but to be a blessing. Every chosen one reaches this crossroads, the moment when you realize the waiting was never about getting something from God, but becoming someone for God. The delay was His way of teaching you how to handle divine timing. Because when the blessing arrives, it needs a heart that's learned patience, gratitude, and surrender. And now that you've reached this place of readiness, I want to speak gently to your heart. This moment, this channel. These words, they are not random. They are part of the flow heaven uses to pour strength and revelation into your spirit. If these messages have been light in your night, let your echo of gratitude ripple outward. Tap to let heaven know the flame still burns. Share this word so another soul finds its dawn. And subscribe so the stream of revelation keeps reaching your heart. Like a river that never dries because fresh springs keep feeding it. This space lives through unseen kindness. When you give, not by pressure but by prompting, you become one of those hidden springs. Your gift is not a price, it's a pulse that keeps the message alive. Imagine dropping one pebble of faith into water and watching endless ripples touch unseen shores. That's what your giving does. If you ever feel led to donate, do it as a whisper of worship, not a rule of religion. Think of it as breathing life back into the very breath that revived you. The smallest seed can grow into a sheltering tree for someone else. No compulsion. No, demand only the freedom of a grateful heart moving in rhythm with heaven. Every like, every share, every seed you sow is a testimony saying, I was blessed, and now I'll be a blessing. Together we become a constellation, each star shining because another dared to stay lit. So, dear chosen one, if your heart feels stirred, let your support flow naturally like for agreement. Share for awakening. Subscribe for continuity. Give if led freely, joyfully, secretly. You are part of the divine pattern that turns delay into destiny. The season of waiting is ending, and the season of fulfillment is dawning. You've waited long enough. Now watch how God redeems time on your behalf. The appointed time is here, and it carries your name. When you choose to give, whether through sharing light or sowing a seed, you become a keeper of the flame. Each gesture whispers, I believe this light must keep burning. The message reaches further because your heart chose to keep it alive. Every act of support, seen or unseen, is recorded in eternity. Heaven measures generosity, not in numbers, but in intention. When your motive is love, every gift becomes worship. Every share becomes ministry. Every subscription becomes partnership in purpose. And remember, giving isn't always about money. Sometimes it's your prayer, your time, or your encouragement that becomes the offering. Whatever you release from a sincere heart, heaven multiplies. What you give returns as peace, strength, and unseen favor flowing quietly back into your life. You've reached a crossroads where obedience is no longer optional, it's essential. Heaven is holding out two paths before you, one that looks safe but leads to stagnation, and another that looks uncertain but is drenched in divine purpose. The time for hesitation has ended. What you do next will shape not just your tomorrow, but the spiritual inheritance of those who come after you. This is the test of obedience. It rarely arrives with trumpets or bright signs. It comes quietly, through small instructions that test the depth of your trust. Sometimes God says, go, when logic says, stay. Other times, He says, wait, when your heart wants to run. Each command reveals whether you trust His character or your comfort. Obedience doesn't always feel glorious. Often, it looks like letting go of what's familiar before seeing what's next. It feels like stepping into fog, trusting that the ground will appear beneath your feet. Yet, This is how faith grows through the trembling. Yes, that shifts destiny. Every time you obey, heaven moves. Angels reposition. Delays break. What once seemed closed suddenly opens. Heaven speaks clearly through the writings in Deuteronomy. Chapter 28, verse 2. And all these blessings shall come upon you and overtake you if you obey the Lord your God. That verse isn't a poetic phrase, it's a divine law. Blessing doesn't chase talent or appearance, it chases obedience. You can't manipulate heaven, but you can align with it. When your heart bends toward God's will, even in confusion, the heavens respond with acceleration. Obedience is the currency of the kingdom. It's how unseen promises become visible reality. Some of the greatest miracles are hidden behind simple instructions. The widow who poured her last oil, Naaman who dipped in a muddy river, Peter who cast his net again after failure, they all found that obedience is the door between lack and abundance. God is not testing your ability, He's testing your willingness. Because when your will surrenders, your destiny expands. The truth is, obedience rarely feels convenient. It demands surrender when pride wants control. It calls for movement when fear says, stay still. But the chosen ones understand the price of obedience is temporary discomfort. The reward is eternal alignment. Every time you choose His voice over your feelings, you are proving heaven can trust you with more. Right now, the Spirit is whispering something specific to you. Maybe it's forgiving someone who doesn't deserve it. Maybe it's leaving a place that has already served its purpose. Maybe it's starting the thing you've been afraid to begin. Whatever it is, obedience unlocks what waiting alone never could. The next blessing is attached to your next yes. You have been prepared for this moment. The storms, the delays, the silences, they weren't punishment, they were practice. They were heaven's way of shaping a heart that obeys even without full understanding. That kind of obedience terrifies darkness, because it means you are no longer controlled by sight, but by spirit. And the more you obey, the clearer your path becomes. Confusion breaks. Peace takes its rightful place. Divine timing begins to accelerate around you. The doors that once ignored your knocking now swing open before you even reach them. This is what it means to walk under divine command, when your yes moves the hand of heaven. So pause now, and let this truth sink in. Obedience isn't about rules, it's about relationship. It's how you say, I trust you, even when I don't understand you. Heaven responds to that trust with miracles no human plan could manufacture. If this message resonates in your soul, seal it with an act of prophetic agreement. Comment the number 444 below. Let it be your declaration that you choose alignment over anxiety, trust over timing, obedience over opinion. That number symbolizes divine order, the moment heaven's pattern takes shape in your life. When you type it, you're not performing, you're prophesying. You're saying, my steps are ordered, my faith is steady, and my obedience is complete. Remember, chosen one, your next miracle doesn't depend on how much you know, but how quickly you obey. Heaven has already prepared the blessing it's waiting for, your yes. When you write 444, you're doing more than typing a number, you're aligning yourself with divine structure. It's a symbol that heaven's order is unfolding in your life, that every step you take is now synchronized with purpose. You are declaring that chaos no longer controls your direction. This number represents stability, the four corners of the earth, the four winds, the unshakable foundation of God's promises. By writing it, you're saying, Lord, I trust your timing, and I stand firm in your plan. It's your faith saying yes to divine architecture. So, type 444, not as superstition, but as surrender. Let it be your signature of obedience, quiet, firm, and full of trust. In that act, heaven sees agreement, and blessings begin to overtake your path. There comes a time in every chosen one's journey when heaven seems to go silent. The prayers that once felt alive now echo into still air. You open your heart to speak, but the response feels distant. You wonder if God has turned away, if you've missed something, if your faith has failed. But the truth is far deeper. Divine silence is not rejection, it is refinement. When heaven hides its voice, it is not absence. It is intimacy. It's God drawing you into deeper trust. The kind that doesn't depend on emotion, but on conviction. He is not punishing you by being quiet. He is preparing you to hear beyond words. The silence is not empty. It's full of meaning that only stillness can reveal. Think of a teacher who stops speaking during a test. The teacher's silence doesn't mean abandonment. It means the lesson has already been given. And now it's time to demonstrate understanding. Heaven works the same way. When the noise of instruction fades, the quiet becomes a test of faith. Will you still trust the word when you can no longer feel the warmth of his voice in the seasons of silence? Your faith grows roots. It goes deeper than feelings, deeper than results. It learns to rely on the character of God, not the comfort of his nearness. These are the moments when heaven watches to see if you will trust what was said before the silence began. Faith that survives the quiet is faith that becomes unbreakable. We are reminded through the words of Psalms, chapter 46, verse 10, "Be still, and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth." That stillness is not passive, it is powerful. It is the choice to remain anchored when your surroundings demand panic. Silence is not the absence of God's activity, it's the womb of his next move. While you wait, he works. While you wonder, he weaves. You cannot see it, but heaven is building strength in your spirit that will outlast the storms ahead. The silence of God is also a mirror. It reflects what's really inside you, your fears, your doubts, your expectations. It surfaces the noise that often drowns out divine whispers. That's why it feels so uncomfortable. But it's in that discomfort that transformation happens. The parts of you that depended on constant confirmation begin to fade, and what remains is pure trust. In silence, God detoxes your dependence. He strips away the false voices, the opinions, the distractions, the pride, until all that's left is a quiet heart that listens without demand. He's not ignoring you, he's inviting you into maturity. A faith that can thrive in silence is a faith that can handle any storm. When heaven goes silent, it's because your spirit is being tuned to a higher frequency. You're learning to hear God not only in words, but in winds, in stillness, in circumstance, in peace. The silence becomes a sanctuary where your soul learns to discern his movement without needing sound. It's the space where you stop asking for signs and start sensing direction. Many give up in this season because they mistake silence for distance. But those who remain, who keep believing in the quiet, Soon discover that heaven was closer than ever. God whispers to those who wait well. The silence was never punishment, it was protection from noise that could have derailed you. You are being trained to walk by revelation, not reassurance. That's why the silence hurts. It's the shedding of spiritual childhood. You are becoming an adult in faith, one who doesn't need constant validation to keep moving forward. You are learning to carry peace even when heaven whispers nothing new, because you trust that his last word still stands true. And when the silence finally breaks, when the whisper returns, when the doors open, when the air shifts, you'll realize it wasn't really silence at all. It was music you didn't yet know how to hear. Every unanswered prayer was a note. Every quiet moment was part of a divine melody that was being composed beneath your pain. So hold steady in the stillness. Heaven's silence is not the end of conversation. It's the deep breath before the next sentence. Don't fill the quiet with fear. Fill it with faith. Keep showing up. Keep believing. Keep trusting that even the silence is sacred. Because one day soon, the same silence that tested you will testify for you. You will look back and understand God wasn't quiet to hurt you. He was quiet to strengthen the voice he placed within you. When heaven speaks again, you will recognize his tone instantly, because silence trained your spirit to discern truth. The pause was never punishment. It was preparation for deeper communion. So, when the world grows loud again, remember this stillness. Carry it within you like sacred fire. You no longer fear the quiet you've learned. It's where God breathes closest. There is a thin line between grace and rebellion, and many cross it without realizing. Rebellion doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers through delayed obedience, through half-hearted surrender, through the quiet, not yet, that resists divine instruction. But heaven sees beyond words. When God gives direction and you hesitate, that hesitation becomes disobedience in disguise. It's not anger that heaven feels, it's sorrow, because rebellion closes what grace had already opened. Grace is a gift, but it is also a responsibility. It gives space to grow, not permission to drift. When grace is taken for granted, it turns into a silent judgment. You've been given time to change, not time to hide. And every moment heaven waits is mercy stretching its hand toward you. But mercy, though vast, is not endless in opportunity. When we resist too long, heaven steps back and lets us taste the fruit of our own delay. The voice of God thundered in Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 19, I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life, so that you and your children may live. That call is not just ancient text, it's eternal truth. Every choice is a gate. Every act of obedience, a key. Heaven will never force your will, but it will record your decision. The longer you delay, the heavier the silence becomes, because each time you ignore divine instruction, your spirit grows a little duller to the sound of heaven's voice. Rebellion doesn't always appear as evil. Sometimes it looks like comfort. Staying in a job God told you to leave. Clinging to relationships that poison your peace. Holding on to habits that keep your spirit numb. Rebellion hides behind excuses. I'm not ready. It's not that serious. I'll change soon. But every excuse builds a wall between you and the promise. Grace waits patiently, but the opportunity window eventually shifts. The cost of rebellion isn't always immediate destruction. Sometimes it's slow blindness. You stop recognizing conviction. You start calling compromise wisdom. You begin to justify what you once repented for. It's a subtle drift, but it leads to a deep distance. Heaven doesn't turn its back on you. Rather, your heart turns away without noticing. You felt this before, that tug in your spirit, that holy discomfort. You tried to silence it, to rationalize it away. But the unease stayed. That's not guilt, that's grace still knocking. When God warns, it's not to punish but to protect. But every ignored whisper strengthens rebellion's hold. The more you resist, the less you recognize his voice. And eventually, what was once correction begins to sound like condemnation, not because God changed, but because distance distorts sound. Rebellion is not always loud defiance. Sometimes it's gentle compromise, a slow fading of fire, a quiet ignoring of the Spirit's pull. The most dangerous rebellion is the one that wears the mask of control when you think you can negotiate obedience. But heaven doesn't barter. It blesses surrender. There's still mercy right now. If you're breathing, you have time to return. Heaven doesn't shame your hesitation. It invites your humility. Every act of repentance reopens what rebellion tried to close. The moment you say, "I yield," grace floods back like a river breaking through a dam. It's not too late to realign. God is not looking for perfection, he's looking for surrender. Rebellion breaks the flow, but repentance restores it instantly. Don't let pride convince you it's too late. Heaven never stops waiting for a willing heart. Sometimes the hardest thing to surrender is control the belief that you can manage the outcome better than obedience can. But obedience doesn't restrict, it releases. When you let go, you don't lose, you make space for divine order to return. Every yes rebuilds what rebellion fractured. Right now, heaven is whispering again, choose life. Choose the way of humility over the illusion of power. Choose the narrow road, even when it costs your comfort. Choose obedience, because that's where your covering is found. And remember, rebellion never just affects you. It ripples into generations. The choices you make today either plant blessing or build barriers for those who follow. But the beauty of grace is this: one moment of surrender can rewrite an entire bloodline. So don't let fear or guilt keep you distant. The door of mercy is still open, though the handle waits on your decision. Step through. Let grace do what rebellion never could restore. Rebuild and reignite what was fading. The cost of rebellion is blindness. The reward of surrender is sight. The moment you choose obedience again, your vision clears, your peace returns, and the distance disappears. Heaven never stopped loving you. It's simply waiting for your heart to come home. Rebellion loses its power the moment you bow in surrender. One humble prayer can silence years of resistance and open doors that pride kept locked. Grace is still waiting. So, return. Not in fear, but in faith. The same voice you once ignored is now calling you home with love, not judgment. Choose life again. Fire has always been a paradox. It destroys and refines at the same time. The flames that once threatened to consume you were never meant to end you. They were sent to expose what cannot be burned away. Every trial, every loss, every heartbreak, it wasn't punishment. It was purification. You are the gold in God's furnace, and the heat has been proving your worth. At times you begged for the flames to stop, You thought you were being punished. You asked, "Why me?" But heaven saw something deeper, the unshakable part of you that could only emerge under pressure. Fire doesn't destroy what's genuine, it reveals it. You were never burning down, you were burning clean. According to the prophet Isaiah chapter 48, verse 10, "See, I have refined you, though not as silver. I have tested you in the furnace of affliction." Those words carry weight because they describe exactly what you've endured. The fire didn't just touch your life, it transformed your soul. The pain you faced became proof of your resilience. The seasons that stripped you bare actually uncovered your strength. You didn't lose your worth in the flames, you discovered it. And though the fire felt endless, it had an expiration date. Heaven doesn't leave you burning forever. It lets the heat linger only long enough to release the impurities that clouded your purpose. When the refining is complete, the same fire that once hurt you begins to illuminate you. The glow you carry now isn't from comfort, it's from survival. You have walked through what others feared and come out shining with unborrowed light. Fire teaches endurance, but it also teaches vision. You start seeing differently after you've been through heat. You recognize truth quicker, sense danger sooner, appreciate peace deeper. Fire gives you discernment. It teaches you what matters and what doesn't. After the furnace, you stop chasing validation because you've already survived rejection. You stop fearing loss because you've already learned that what's divine cannot be destroyed. Many don't understand that the fire is a promotion, not a punishment. Heaven doesn't refine those it intends to discard, it refines those it plans to reveal. The greater the call, the hotter the flame. You were refined not because you failed, but because you were chosen to carry purity that ordinary hearts cannot bear. You've noticed it, that quiet confidence that wasn't there before. The storm didn't leave you weak, it left you wise. You now carry fire in your bones, not anger, but authority. You've walked through the blaze and learned that faith doesn't melt, it glows. So when you face another trial, remember what the fire already taught you. Survival is not the goal, transformation is. You didn't go through it to come out the same. You came out different, sharper, humbler, stronger. Every chosen one must pass through the fire, because only in the flames can true identity be revealed. The refining is the making. The pain is the proof. The heat you feel is heaven trusting you with the weight of purity. And now, as you stand on the other side of the blaze, you carry something priceless, the kind of strength that cannot be imitated. You have authority because you've endured authenticity. The fire has written your story in light. So, chosen one, look back at what you've overcome and see it clearly now. You were not destroyed. You were defined. You were not consumed. You were clarified. The fire didn't take from you, it returned you to yourself. And if your spirit bears witness to this truth, seal it with a simple declaration below, "Still I rise." Write it not as a boast, but as a victory cry from one who has faced the furnace and found faith unshaken. Let it be your testimony that no fire, no loss, and no storm can steal the glory forged within you. When you type "Still I rise," you are not just repeating words, you are announcing resurrection. You are declaring to heaven, to the enemy, and to yourself that the flames failed to erase you. This is more than survival, it's revival. You've been buried under ashes before, But every time you've risen stronger, wiser, and more radiant than before. These 3 words are your anthem, a song that only those refined by fire can sing. They carry defiance against darkness and gratitude toward grace. You're saying, I've walked through what should have destroyed me, and yet I stand. Every letter is a spark of testimony. Every syllable a reminder that endurance is holy. When you write it, you're not boasting in your strength, you're honoring the God who carried you through the blaze. It's your public declaration that faith still stands where fear once lived. So type it, mean it, and live it. Still I rise. Let the world know that you are the evidence of divine resilience. That your story is no longer about pain, but about purpose. Fire didn't define your end, it revealed your beginning. Rise again and shine. There is a moment when heaven decides to unveil what has been hidden, when the curtain of delay is drawn back and everything begins to make sense. You have entered that moment now. What once felt buried is being brought into light. The season of exposure has arrived. Not to shame you, but to show you. Heaven is revealing not only the hidden motives around you, but also the forgotten strength within you. You've been praying for truth, for clarity, for confirmation, and God is answering. But His revelations rarely come wrapped in comfort. Sometimes exposure feels like loss. When truth enters, falsehoods tremble, masks fall, motives surface, and what you thought was friendship may reveal itself as friction. Yet, this unveiling is protection. Heaven is cleaning the lens of your vision so you can finally see who is for you and who has been standing quietly against you. There is wisdom in the firelight of exposure. What is revealed is not meant to destroy your peace, but to direct your steps. God removes what you can't see before He blesses what you can. He allows you to feel the sting of revelation so you'll no longer build on weak foundations. Every ending that feels painful right now is actually mercy in disguise. As the word declares in Luke, chapter 8, verse 17, "For there is nothing hidden that will not be disclosed, and nothing concealed that will not be known or brought out into the open." That's the truth unfolding around you. What's hidden is being brought into light, not because you asked for drama, but because heaven cannot let deception stand beside destiny. When God begins to elevate you, He also begins to separate you. The exposure isn't punishment, it's promotion. You can't carry hidden poison into a promised land. But even as the light reveals, remember, exposure doesn't only show others, it shows you. You'll start to see old patterns that have been limiting you, habits that no longer fit the version of you heaven is shaping. This is the kindness of God to let truth heal you before success magnifies you. It's far better to be corrected in private than to be embarrassed in public. Every illumination is an act of mercy. This is the season to walk in honesty, in humility, and in clarity. Truth might sting, but it also saves. Let what's falling away fall completely, and bless what remains. The light will not expose what's holy, it only burns away what hides it. And as you receive these words, let me gently remind you that light travels further when it is shared. These messages, the words that meet you in dark places, they are not random echoes. They are flames carried through the voices and hearts of many who believe that truth still changes lives. If this message has brought light to you, let your light respond like to affirm your awakening. Share it so someone lost in shadow can find their dawn. And subscribe so the flow of revelation keeps reaching you when you need it most. And if your heart ever feels moved to give, do it as an act of light. Giving is not about amount, it's about illumination. When you give, you help keep the lamp burning, not for me, but for every soul who stumbles upon these words and finds their way home again. Think of it as adding oil to the lamp, keeping the flame from dimming. Your offering is not a transaction, it's a continuation of light. Imagine a lantern carried across generations. Each supporter adds a drop of oil, a flicker of faith, a breath of hope. That's what you do when you give. You breathe on the flame so it doesn't go out. The hands that give are the same hands heaven uses to keep messages alive. If you can't give financially, give by sharing. If you can't share, give through prayer. Every act becomes part of the same flame. This space is a collective fire born of obedience, sustained by faith, and kept alive by love. So, as the light of exposure continues to reveal and refine, let your heart be soft, your gratitude steady, and your support sincere. There is beauty in being part of something that brings hope to others. Like, share, subscribe, or give not because you must, but because you can. That freedom itself is worship. Heaven's light is moving through you now. You are both the revealed and the revealer, one who carries light and multiplies it. Stay open, stay generous, stay truthful, because in this season of exposure, those who walk in light will never stumble again. Every act of light you release returns brighter. The message you help carry today may become the lifeline for someone tomorrow. Giving, sharing, supporting each is a reflection of love's quiet strength. Keep the flame alive. The world grows brighter each time one heart chooses generosity over silence. You are not just receiving light, you are becoming it. There comes a point in every divine journey where everything feels like it's collapsing at once. You reach the edge of yourself, strength fading, faith trembling, breath heavy. It feels as if heaven has stretched you too far. The weight of battles, disappointments, and unanswered questions presses in from all sides. You wonder if you can endure another day. But here, right at the breaking point, something sacred begins to happen. What looks like breaking is actually birthing. The pressure you feel isn't meant to destroy you, it's meant to deliver you into purpose. When the vessel cracks, the oil finally flows. The breaking is not punishment, it's release. You cannot carry new anointing in an unbroken vessel. Every crushing moment, every tear, every loss has been extracting divine oil from your spirit, the kind that carries healing for others. The scriptures remind us through the psalmist, Psalms, chapter 34, verse 18, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." That's not a poetic comfort, it's a living truth. God does not avoid the broken, he abides within them. The very place you thought was your end is the ground where resurrection begins. He takes what is shattered and turns it into something sacred. The brokenhearted are not forgotten, they are transformed into carriers of compassion and power. When you break, heaven bends closer. Angels gather around the cracks, not to fix them quickly, but to fill them with light. Your weakness becomes his workshop. Your emptiness becomes his entry point. You learn that being strong isn't about never falling apart. It's about letting grace hold the pieces together when you do. This breaking point is holy ground. It's where pride dies and purity rises. It's where faith stops being a theory and becomes your only language. You begin to see that the pain you once feared is the very place where purpose begins to breathe. There is something sacred about surrender, about admitting that you cannot carry it all, about letting your tears water the soil of your next chapter. Every drop of grief has been counted. Every silent cry has been heard. Nothing you've suffered is wasted. The crushing produces clarity, and the clarity becomes calling. The olive must be pressed to release its oil. The grape must be crushed to produce wine. The seed must be buried to bring life. You are no different. You've been pressed, crushed, buried, but you are about to bloom. What once felt like burial was actually planting. God doesn't bury his children, he plants them. Sometimes, God lets everything fall apart so you'll finally see what's unshakable. You thought you lost everything, but all you lost were the things that couldn't go with you. The breaking point strips away illusions until only truth remains, and truth, though painful, is liberating. The moment you let go, really let go, heaven begins to rebuild from the ashes. The parts of you that survived this breaking will carry eternal weight. You will never again depend on temporary things for strength, because now you know where real power comes from. And though you feel weak now, there's a hidden strength rising within you, the kind that doesn't need applause, doesn't demand answers, doesn't waver with circumstances. It's the kind of strength that can only be formed through pain. It's quiet but unbreakable, gentle but immovable. If you could see yourself from heaven's perspective, you'd see how radiant your brokenness has become. Every crack glows with light. Every wound reflects grace. The pain didn't disqualify you, it prepared you. The breaking made room for glory. Do not despise this season. It's shaping the version of you that your destiny requires. What feels like loss is actually exchange old strength for divine power, old dreams for higher vision, your will for his. The breaking point is not your downfall, it's your doorway. You will rise from this, not as the same person, but as one reborn through fire and tears. The version of you that's emerging now will never bow to fear again. You've faced the crushing and survived. Now you are carrying the fragrance of endurance, the perfume only found in those who've been pressed but not destroyed. So stand in the ashes and breathe. This is not the end. This is the sacred threshold between what was and what will be. Heaven's eyes are upon you, not in pity, but in pride. You have not broken in vain, you have broken into purpose. The same ground that saw your tears will soon witness your triumph. Every crack that once leaked pain will now release light. You are living proof that broken things in God's hands still shine with purpose. And when you rise again, rise gently, carrying wisdom where wounds once were. Don't hide your scars, they are the script of survival, the language of grace written on your skin. There is a moment when heaven stops whispering and starts commanding alignment. This is that moment. You can feel it, the gentle unrest inside you, the pull to let go of what no longer fits, the stirring that says, enough delay. Heaven isn't punishing you, it's positioning you. The time for partial obedience has ended. To walk in the fullness of what God prepared, you must come into complete alignment, heart, mind, and action moving in one divine rhythm. Alignment isn't about perfection, it's about agreement. When your will agrees with heaven's will, doors open effortlessly. But when you cling to your plan, even blessings become burdens. This is why God sometimes disrupts comfort, because He refuses to let you stay small when destiny calls you higher. The shaking isn't cruelty, it's calibration. Heaven is fine-tuning your direction so your steps match divine design. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Amos, declaring truth that still echoes Amos. Chapter 3, verse 3, Can two walk together, except they be agreed? That question isn't rhetorical, it's relational. How can you walk with God if you're walking in a different direction? Alignment means surrendering not only your behavior, but your perspective. It's choosing trust when you don't yet see the full picture. It's saying, your way, Lord, even when it interrupts mine. Every act of obedience becomes a step back into divine flow. When you live out of alignment, you feel it, the constant tension, the drained peace, the sense that nothing fits. It's not that God has abandoned you, it's that you've been walking to a rhythm heaven isn't playing. Alignment restores the rhythm of grace. You stop striving, you stop forcing, you begin to flow again. Things that used to exhaust you now unfold naturally. Heaven's alignment isn't just about morality, it's about motion. It's not what you stop doing that changes everything, it's what you start obeying. God isn't looking for perfection, He's looking for partnership. When you align, He accelerates. What once took years begins to happen in days because your spirit and His Spirit are finally moving as one. Sometimes, alignment requires subtraction. Certain people, habits, and places cannot stay connected to your next level. God doesn't remove them to punish you. He removes them so your focus won't be divided. You cannot walk in full light while holding on to shadows. Letting go is not losing, it's creating space for what's meant to grow. There's peace waiting for you on the other side of surrender. The confusion will settle, the noise will fade, and suddenly, what felt complicated will become clear. Alignment doesn't make life easier, it makes it meaningful. It turns wandering into walking, chaos into calling, delay into destiny. And now, heaven is asking for your response. No delay, no halfway yes. Just full surrender. Because this moment right here, right now, is an invitation to walk in divine sync. If your heart recognizes that call, if you can feel the pull to realign, seal it with a prophetic act of faith. Comment the number 555 below. That number represents grace multiplied, transformation unfolding, and divine movement in progress. When you write it, you're declaring, I'm ready to walk in step with heaven. It's not superstition, it's symbolism, your outward sign of inward agreement. This is your alignment moment. Heaven has waited for your full yes, not a fearful yes, but a free one. Let your surrender speak louder than excuses. The moment you choose alignment, everything that was resisting you begins to release you. You'll find favor in unexpected places, strength where you once felt weak, and peace that doesn't make sense. Type 555 as a sign of that shift. Let it mark the day heaven heard your yes and set your life back in rhythm with divine timing. You are aligning with purpose, power, and peace, and heaven is smiling on your decision. When you type 555, you are not typing a number, you are declaring movement. You are saying, I am done resisting. I am ready to walk in rhythm with heaven. That number symbolizes grace multiplied, a divine shift from confusion into clarity. It marks the moment your spirit decides to stop fighting divine timing and start flowing with it. Typing 555 is your way of stepping into agreement, not because someone told you to, but because your soul recognizes the sound of home. It means you're choosing transformation over hesitation, obedience over delay. It's a small action with eternal echo, a whisper that heaven hears as surrender. So type it with faith, not fear. Let it represent your alignment, your freedom, your readiness to move. When heaven sees your agreement, it doesn't just record your word, it releases direction. The very rhythm that felt lost will return, and you'll move forward with grace as your pace and peace as your compass. You've walked through silence, through storms, through surrender, but never alone. There were moments when you thought no one understood, when you questioned if heaven even heard your prayers. Yet even when you couldn't see it, help was standing beside you. You have never been unguarded. You've been surrounded by the unseen army of heaven, angels assigned to your name long before you took your first breath. These messengers of light have walked with you through valleys you thought would consume you. They've stood between you and destruction when danger moved unseen. Every close call, every near miss, every sudden sense of peace in the middle of chaos, none of it was coincidence. It was intervention. The unseen army moved before you, shielding, guiding, and warring on your behalf. Heaven spoke this mystery through the psalmist, Psalms, chapter 91, verse 11, "For he shall give his angels charge over you, to keep you in all your ways." That charge is not a metaphor, it's a mandate. You are covered by a divine assignment. Every chosen one carries a heavenly escort. They do not need your permission to protect you, they move by divine command. But they respond to faith, to obedience, to the sound of God's word released through your mouth. When you speak in alignment with heaven, they move faster. When you live in trust instead of fear, their path clears. You felt it before the sudden peace after panic, the strength that appeared when you should have collapsed. That wasn't luck, that was presence. Angels often work quietly, unseen but undeniable. Their protection doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it's as simple as a thought redirected, a delay that saved you, a person sent to help at the exact right moment. And while this world grows darker, the presence around you grows stronger. The unseen army does not shrink in chaos, it expands in intensity. The greater your calling, the greater the covering. You've walked through fires not because you were unscathed, but because heaven walked you through it. Your survival is the proof that angelic protection is not poetic, but practical. There are seasons when God lets you see glimpses of their work, moments when the atmosphere shifts, when you sense you are not alone. Those flashes of divine nearness aren't imagination, they are reminders. Heaven knows when to let you feel what's always been true, that you are never uncovered, never abandoned, never outnumbered. Even now, they surround you, not as distant guardians, but as active warriors, responding to the rhythm of divine command. Some carry messages, others carry swords, all carry purpose. You may not hear them, but their movement shapes outcomes you can't yet see. The unseen army doesn't only protect, it also propels. They go ahead of you, clearing the way, preparing hearts, aligning opportunities. Sometimes The delay you lament is actually their construction zone, heaven rearranging pieces so the path is safe when you arrive. You are walking through corridors already secured by divine forces. When you face opposition that feels too strong, remember, your battle isn't fought alone. You fight with an army that doesn't tire, doesn't retreat, and doesn't lose. The forces against you are loud, but the forces for you are limitless. Even darkness knows your backup. That's why the enemy attacks with fear, because he cannot touch those protected by truth. Only distract them from seeing it. The more aware you become of your protection, the bolder you walk. Fear loses its grip when you realize you are never isolated. Your steps are escorted by eternity. When you speak faith, angels listen. When you worship through pain, they draw near. When you stand firm in trial, they strengthen your stance. You are not fragile, you are fortified. Every chosen one is part of a divine network, visible and invisible, human and heavenly. And as you grow in awareness, you'll begin to sense their partnership more clearly. You'll notice divine timing more often, divine nudges more naturally. The unseen will start to feel familiar because your spirit will be tuned to heaven's wavelength. So, walk boldly, knowing the unseen army moves with you. They are not far, they are near, surrounding, shielding, sustaining. You don't have to see them to believe. You've already lived their evidence. Every time destruction passed over, every time despair lifted, every time peace returned, you were standing in the shelter of divine protection. Let this truth anchor your heart. You are never outnumbered. The same power that commands angels still commands your future. The unseen army isn't just around you, it's within your story, woven into every step, carrying you forward toward promise. You are never walking unaccompanied. Heaven's soldiers move with every breath you take. Even when fear whispers, remember, the invisible hands of grace are already working ahead of you. Trust the unseen. The same angels that guarded yesterday are securing tomorrow. You are protected, surrounded, and deeply known in every step you take. There are moments when destiny changes hands, when a mantle once resting on another is transferred to the one who remained faithful through obscurity. You are standing in that kind of moment now. Heaven has seen your endurance, your consistency when no one applauded, your obedience when it cost you comfort. And now, the mantle reserved for your generation is being placed upon your shoulders. A mantle is not merely a symbol of authority, it is the weight of divine responsibility. It is heaven's way of saying, I trust you with what others dropped. You may not feel ready, but mantles rarely land on the comfortable. They find the surrendered. What others treated lightly, you will carry carefully. What others wasted, you will redeem. This is the reward of faithfulness, not recognition, but assignment. We are reminded through the ancient story recorded in 2 Kings, chapter 2, verse 13. Elisha picked up Elijah's cloak that had fallen from him and went back and stood on the bank of the Jordan. That verse is not only history, it is prophecy. Just like Elisha, you are picking up something sacred that someone else let fall. A mantle of courage, of faith, of leadership, of purity, something your family line, your community, your generation once carried but lost in compromise. Heaven didn't forget it. The cloak has been waiting for a heart pure enough to wear it again. You didn't seek this mantle, the mantle sought you. It was drawn to your perseverance. your refusal to let bitterness win, your quiet prayers when no one watched. While others ran for visibility, you waited for voice. That waiting shaped you into the kind of vessel heaven can trust. Now the mantle rests, not because of who you are, but because of what you've endured. Carrying a mantle means stepping into unfamiliar weight. You will feel it in your spirit, a greater sense of awareness, a heaviness of purpose, a sharpened discernment. You'll notice yourself seeing deeper, speaking bolder, walking steadier. It's not arrogance, it's authority, the kind that comes from heaven, not from applause. And yet, every mantle comes with a cost. It demands humility. It calls you to rise higher in holiness and lower in pride. The more influence heaven gives, the more invisibility it often requires. This is how God protects purity. The mantle is not a trophy, it's a trust. It's not to be displayed for admiration, but used for transformation. Do not compare your journey to others. What rests on you is specific, crafted by divine hands for your exact assignment. To wear another's mantle is to suffocate in misfit purpose. You must carry what heaven gave you, not what the crowd approves. Alignment and authenticity are the twin threads that hold your mantle in place. You'll notice that with every new level of anointing comes new levels of testing. Mantles attract warfare because they signify movement. But remember, you are not unarmed. The same power that placed the mantle will preserve it. Every attack will become proof of your anointing. Every resistance is heaven's way of reinforcing your foundation. There will also be moments of loneliness, not as punishment, but as preparation. Mantles often isolate before they elevate. God hides his chosen before he reveals them. The hidden seasons are not delays, they are divine fortification. In the silence, your mantle matures. Do not despise that hiddenness. It's the cocoon that transforms calling into capability. When the time comes to step forward, you'll carry not just words but weight, the kind of authority that breaks chains, restores hearts, and shifts atmospheres. You'll speak, and people will feel heaven move through your voice, not because of charisma, but because of consecration. Carrying a mantle means walking carefully, not in fear, but in reverence. You must stay aligned with heaven's rhythm, sensitive to its whispers, obedient to its prompts. The greater the mantle, the greater the need for intimacy with God. Public power requires private purity. Remember, the cloak you carry was costly. Others paid in tears and faith for what now rests on you. Honor it by walking humbly, loving deeply, and obeying fully. You are the continuation of a story heaven began long before you were born. The mantle isn't just about you, it's about legacy, a divine thread that connects past faithfulness to future fulfillment. You are stepping into inheritance, not for applause, but for assignment. Heaven trusted you with what others couldn't carry, and it will sustain you where others fell. The mantle resting on you today is not heavy because it's burdensome, it's heavy because it's holy. Wear it well. The mantle will shape your steps and sharpen your sight. Walk with reverence, for every movement now carries meaning. You are heaven's continuation, the living proof that faithfulness still matters. And when doubt whispers, remember whose cloak rests upon you. It did not fall by accident, it found you by design. Carry it boldly, for you were made for this. Something is stirring across the earth, a quiet awakening. a holy restlessness spreading through the hearts of those who refuse to settle for spiritual sleep. You can feel it, can't you? The sense that heaven is gathering its remnants, those who won't bow to comfort, who won't trade purity for popularity, who won't dilute truth to fit in. You are one of them. The rise of the remnant has begun, and your obedience is its spark. The remnant is small in number, but vast in power. They are the ones who kept believing when others stopped, who kept worshipping in silence, who kept showing up when no one watched. They don't move by applause, they move by assignment. They carry revival in their ribs, fire in their breath, and courage in their steps. Every yes you've given in secret has joined a divine chorus across generations. Heaven is composing something powerful through your persistence. The Apostle reminds us in Romans, chapter 11, verse 5. So too, at the present time there is a remnant chosen by grace. Grace has always been the mark of the chosen, not perfection, not status, but grace undeserved, unstoppable, undeniable grace. It's what preserved you when you wanted to quit, what lifted you when fear tried to drown you. You are here not because you never fell, but because grace refused to let you stay down. And now, grace is gathering the faithful. This is more than a movement, it's a heartbeat, heaven's own rhythm pulsing through surrendered souls. The remnant isn't loud, they are luminous. They carry light quietly, yet powerfully, burning through darkness simply by existing. When they speak, the atmosphere shifts. When they pray, nations tremble. When they love, hearts heal. You felt isolated at times, wondering why you couldn't blend in. But isolation was never punishment, it was consecration. God separated you so he could refine you without distraction. The loneliness you felt was simply distance from the ordinary. The remnant cannot mix comfortably with mediocrity. You were designed to burn brighter, to stand taller, to walk differently. And now that light within you is calling to others. Fire recognizes fire. The remnant finds each other through resonance, a spiritual sound that says, I see you. I know that fire. Every time you share truth, every time you show love, every time you forgive, you call another sleeping soul awake. This is how revival begins, not with noise, but with notice. As this awakening spreads, let your light flow outward. If these words reach something deep within you, let that light answer back, like to affirm your flame. Share this message so another ember reignites. And subscribe so your heart remains near the fire when it speaks again. You are not just a listener, you are a torchbearer. Every act of engagement becomes part of the wildfire heaven is sending across the world. And if you ever feel led to give, let it be like breathing natural, effortless, alive. Think of giving as releasing a spark into a larger blaze. Every seed, every offering, every act of generosity keeps the fire burning. This space, these words, they are lamps fueled by unseen kindness. When you give, you're not paying for light, you're pouring oil into a flame that has already warmed your soul. Your support becomes story. Each contribution, be it a share, a comment, or a donation, is like another log placed gently into the fire, without pressure, without obligation, just the quiet beauty of participation. You help the flame reach further, touch hearts it's never touched before. and keep burning in the darkest hours. And perhaps that is the beauty of the remnant. They don't just receive light, they sustain it. They don't wait for permission to shine, they choose to glow. When you engage, you are choosing to be part of something that transcends the moment, a circle of light stretching across borders and time zones, linking strangers through shared faith. So, if your spirit stirs while reading these words, follow that warmth. Like, share, comment, subscribe, or give, not because you must, but because your light recognizes the light. This is not persuasion, it's participation. It's a dance of souls agreeing that light must not fade. The rise of the remnant isn't coming, it's here. It's in your hands, your words, your willingness. You are part of the constellation. Heaven is forming a network of lights pushing back the dark. Shine freely, generously, unashamedly. The remnant rises through your flame. When you comment, your words become embers carried by the wind of faith. Each thought shared lights another heart, and together those sparks weave into a living flame of testimony. Your voice matters in this rising chorus of light. Every act of kindness, every like, every share, every offering is another heartbeat of this movement. It's not performance, it's participation. The fire grows not by demand, but by devotion, spreading through willing hearts that choose to keep shining. Every crown has a cost, and every victory carries a cross. You have seen the light of favor and felt the sting of sacrifice. But you are beginning to understand that the two are inseparable. Heaven never gives authority without weight, nor glory without surrender. The crown on your life is real, but so is the cross you must carry to wear it rightly. Many desire the crown, the recognition, the fruit, the fulfillment, but few are willing to walk the narrow road that shapes a soul worthy to hold it. You cannot separate the blessing from the burden. Both are woven into the same divine thread. The cross doesn't cancel your destiny, it confirms it. It proves that your calling is not built on comfort, but on character. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 16, verse 24, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me." That verse isn't about punishment, it's about partnership. The cross isn't meant to crush you, it's meant to crown you. It's the process that polishes your spirit until your heart reflects heaven. Carrying your cross means walking in obedience when it's painful, choosing integrity when compromise looks easier, forgiving when resentment feels justified. The cross is where you trade your will for His. And in that surrender, true royalty is born. You've already carried more than you realize. Every time you chose faith over frustration, you lifted your cross. Every time you loved when it hurt, you carried it higher. Every time you forgave what broke you, you were walking uphill toward destiny. That climb wasn't wasted, it was building the strength to hold your crown. God allows the cross because it teaches you stewardship. Without pressure, pride would grow unchecked. Without suffering, compassion would remain theory. Without humility, authority would become tyranny. The cross refines motives. It burns away what was shallow, leaving only what can sustain true glory. In the kingdom, crowns are not rewards for avoiding pain, they are the result of enduring it with grace. You can only reign over what you've learned to rise above. That's why God doesn't remove the weight, He transforms it. The cross you carry today will become the testimony you stand upon tomorrow. There's beauty in the balance. The cross grounds you, so the crown doesn't corrupt you. The crown reminds you that the cross wasn't in vain. You were not chosen to be crushed, but to be completed. Every scar is now evidence that the weight you carried was never wasted. Sometimes you'll feel both at once, the pain of the cross and the promise of the crown. One humbles, the other honors. Together, they create harmony. If you only had the cross, you might despair. If you only had the crown, you might forget the giver. But when you carry both, you learn what it truly means to be chosen, strong yet surrendered, royal yet reverent. There are days when your shoulders ache under the weight of calling, and heaven seems silent. Those are the moments to remember. Jesus carried his cross not because he was weak, but because he was winning. His greatest victory came dressed as his greatest suffering. The same is true for you. What feels heavy now is producing eternal glory. And even in the weariness, grace is present. Heaven never asks you to carry the cross alone. Strength arrives when surrender is complete. Divine help moves when you refuse to give up. The same Spirit that lifted Christ from the grave breathes power into your perseverance. You are not abandoned beneath the burden. You are anointed to bear it. The crown and the cross are two sides of the same destiny. One shows your authority. The other shapes your authenticity. Without the cross, you might forget who sustained you. Without the crown, you might forget why you suffered. But together, they remind you that every ounce of pain carries purpose. So, chosen one, lift your head. The cross is not forever, it's the bridge. The crown is not just a symbol, it's a story proof that endurance was not in vain. What once hurt you will soon honor you. Heaven doesn't waste pain, it repurposes it into glory. Walk forward now, steady under the weight, yet radiant with promise. You carry the emblem of suffering and the evidence of victory, the cross and the crown, perfectly intertwined. This is what it means to be chosen, not to escape the fire, but to emerge from it wearing light. Your cross has carved wisdom into your spirit, and your crown will reveal it. The weight you once cursed will become the reason others find courage. The journey through pain was not loss, it was sacred preparation. So wear your crown gently, remembering the nails that shaped it. Let humility guard your glory, and compassion guide your power. The cross made you royal in heaven's eyes. There is a final call that comes before every breakthrough, a moment when heaven leans close and waits for your response. It's not the call of urgency, but of invitation. The waiting world may see it as coincidence, but your spirit knows otherwise. You can feel it, the weight of divine timing pressing against your chest, whispering, "Now." This final call is not about performance, it's about presence. It's God asking for your whole heart, not just your moments of emotion. The journey has brought you through silence, through refining, through surrender, through fire. Every trial has been a question, and every act of obedience an answer. And now heaven stands ready to move, but it moves only when your final yes leaves your lips. Heaven spoke through the prophet Isaiah, sealing this truth for eternity. Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 1, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." This is not just a verse, it is a command awakening your destiny. The light has come. The time for hesitation has ended. What was hidden is being revealed. What was waiting is now unfolding. You are stepping into the moment every battle was preparing you for. You've spent years thinking heaven was silent, when in truth, heaven was shaping your sound. The words you will speak in this next season will not echo fear, they will carry fire. The way you walk will not mirror your past, it will mirror His power. The pain that once defined you will now distinguish you. You are not who you were, and you will never return to that version again. This final call is both gentle and fierce. Gentle because it's wrapped in love. Fierce because it demands honesty. It asks, will you truly live as chosen, not halfway, not hesitating, but fully surrendered? To say yes now is to step beyond comfort into calling. It's to let heaven write the rest of your story without you reaching for the pen. Many reach this threshold and turn back, fearing the cost of change. But you are not many. You have been refined for this very moment. You've been trained by tears, matured by silence, strengthened by storms. Heaven can trust you with weight because you no longer chase applause, you carry assignment. The final call always tests what remains of fear. It asks whether you'll trust what you can't yet see. But faith is not blindness, it's partnership. God doesn't ask you to leap into nothing, He invites you to step into everything He's already prepared. Every promise you've held, every prayer you've whispered, every seed you've sown, they converge here, in this sacred intersection of obedience and opportunity. You may feel unqualified, but remember, heaven never calls the perfect, only the willing. Every saint once stood where you stand now, trembling between almost and amen. They too had to choose trust over comfort, surrender over control. And when they did, history shifted. Now it's your turn. This final call isn't about being ready, it's about being responsive. The door is open. The light is breaking. Heaven is watching. Not in judgment, but in anticipation. Your yes will not just change your life, it will awaken those connected to your destiny. The final call is personal, but its impact is generational. When you step through it, you carry more than your dreams, you carry redemption for others. Every battle you've won in private becomes freedom for someone else in public. This is how heaven multiplies victory, one surrendered life at a time. And when you answer fully, finally, peace will replace pressure. Clarity will flood in. The confusion that followed you will dissolve. Because alignment erases chaos. You will realize that this was never about climbing higher. It was about going deeper, deeper in trust, deeper in truth, deeper into the heart of the one who called you. So stand tall in this moment. Feel the shift in the air. This is not the end, it's the unveiling. Everything you've carried, every tear, every prayer has led here to this divine exchange between what was and what's next. The final call is heaven's way of saying, it's time. And this time, you will not miss it. You've been trained by trial, kept by mercy, and marked by grace. The door that's opening will not close again, because it was built for you. Walk through it with courage. Step into the light without fear. The glory of God rises upon you now, steady, radiant, unmistakable. This is your moment of release, your final yes, your beginning made holy by surrender. What you step into now will echo far beyond your lifetime. Heaven called, and this time you answered. You have crossed the threshold. The waiting is over, and the light now lives within you. Every breath forward becomes worship. Every step a declaration that you chose heaven's way. Carry this stillness with courage. Let grace guide your motion. The story continues, not with striving, but with peace, the peace of one who finally said yes. And now, as the echoes of every word fade into quiet, take this moment to breathe. You've walked through revelation, through correction, through comfort and fire, and you're still standing. That alone is a miracle. The story written between you and heaven has only just begun. Everything that has awakened inside you deserves space to grow. Don't rush from this moment. Let it settle deep. If something in these words lit a spark inside you, let that light move outward. Like this message as an act of acknowledgement, not for attention, but as a simple whisper to heaven saying, I received this. When you share, you become a carrier of that same light, passing warmth from one soul to another, letting truth travel further than you could ever imagine. And if your heart feels stirred, leave a comment. Your reflection might become the confirmation someone else was praying for. Sometimes, one sentence written in faith becomes the seed of another person's healing. These spaces of connection are more than screens. They are altars where hearts meet across distance. Stay near the flame. Subscribe if you wish to keep walking this journey. Not out of duty, but desire, a quiet promise to keep growing. Keep listening. Keep aligning with divine rhythm. Let these words return to you when you need them most. And if you ever feel led to give, do it as gently as breathing. No obligation, no pressure, just the freedom to pour back into the stream that has poured into you. Every act of generosity keeps the current alive, turning gratitude into light for others. You are part of something sacred now, a circle of souls who keep faith burning bright. Walk forward in that glow. Heaven smiles through you,